Right, welcome. Good morning, Fiifi-Manfred. We are back this morning with obviously your back edition. It wasn't Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. There's a lot to talk about, obviously, and I know we were able to win. The 6-odd, almost the 7-odd went through, the 9-odd. Only Manchester City women over 2.5 now go through. But then again, it's a good result given the facts in the last few days. No, we hit some level of roadblock, not in sharing your wings this, but then we are back to winning ways, and it means that this weekend a big. There are a lot of things to talk about for this weekend. There are a lot of games, and now Chelsea can't wait to go and play against Astana or Almaty in Kazakhstan. They got the all-important winner of Honor, and as it stands now, what it means is that Chelsea, any conference league table, no any league in there, as we are talking about, there is no way Chelsea will not qualify to the next round of the competition. Chelsea unbeaten in 5 games. Now, next week, Conference League will play one more game. Conference League and Europa League, they are going to play one more game. In terms of the Champions League, they won't play again until next year. But the Conference League, remember, one more game with the Europa League. And of course, if they don't come up, next week we'll talk about the games and how Chelsea we need means that there's going to be an automatic spot in the automatic qualifying rounds now. We'll talk about a lot of things this morning. Chelsea team are competing our Cobham and in London, but the focus remains our match against Brentford. There are a lot of things. Enzo my SKD home come up. Nientia one for the senior players now. Almost many injuries, kakra, and almost many some issues. No, we'll talk about all of those stuff in other games. I saw there is the Manchester Derby because this weekend our English Premier League. FC Barcelona also do have a huge game already this weekend. Our Spanish La Liga. We will go back and have conversations in all of those matches because Spanish La Liga. That's how come out. There are huge matches that are going to go on. In the Spanish La Liga and the French League, there's a game there. It's just Toulouse versus Saint-Etienne. Because in the French Liga, Bundesliga, there's Freiburg versus Wolfsburg. That's probably going to go on the Bundesliga. In the Italian Serie A, there's also Empoli versus Torino. That's also going to go on. And in the La Liga, there is Valencia versus Real Valladolid. And so, because this weekend, our La Liga already. But then again, we look at the teams that show already, which is Barca, any Real Madrid, Barca, about 17 games already in the Spanish La Liga. Almost that top. Next game against Leaganes, Ewofi, at the Munjik, and then you go out and look at Real Madrid also played 16 games, 1 game in hand now. The last time someone share against Atalanta. The Champions League on the next game also at home away actually against Rayo Vallecano, very stubborn Rayo side, and I'm married any more this weekend. Spanish La Liga anymore, and they know that they need to start getting results. We are very close to Barca this time, and then they want to make sure that they keep on getting the results over there. Madrid will push very hard to try and get a win. We'll delve deeper into Chelsea. Pre-match analysis of our Brentford game, and some of the matches that are going to go on the English Premier League. But once you go into the Spanish La Liga, now you come out by Barca, you call Barca come. That's you didn't come out everyone. Some of the things that we are looking at is essentially is the game that they've been playing, how Barca have been playing it. So Massa, any one they are talking about how Barca and Madrid are going to go into this one in terms of matches now. Our Spanish La Liga, no. And they are preparing and gearing up towards it in front of the Spanish La Liga. There is a branch here, your friend Vinicius Jr. He says Vinicius, es el Real de los 100, talking about the number of games that Vinicius Jr. has played for Real Madrid. No, over there, it's important for Vinicius Jr. coming back, also being fit for team and friend Real Madrid, an important player for Vinicius Jr. Lamine Yamal also, there's a picture of him and Lionel Messi, which is also there in front of the page of Marca. In gearing up to the games that are going to go on this weekend, Spanish La Liga. And everybody was speaking about the excellent display of a Brentford friend Lamine Yamal and that pass from in that game to set up that goal for our Brentford friend Ferran Torres. Also, match he was really instrumental, really important. Also, our match team. And this weekend he needs to come back and then get Barca playing again at home at the Leaganes. He knows it's going to be an important one. They need to go in there and then get enough results over there as we go on, and then see it on. Of course, throughout the week in the English Premier League, almost everybody was in the Premier League teams in the Champions League and in Europe almost everybody got a win, but team my friend in Manchester City, which is not a good one at all. Joseph Guardiola and then Brentford are trying very, very hard. So many results, and then it gets back onto winning ways for everybody. If you look at the Champions League, nobody has scored more goals than Robert Lewandowski or Rafinha this season in the Champions League. Barca two players now been very, very important. Robert Lewandowski 7 goals, Rafinha 6 goals already. Our Champions League name, and Robert Lewandowski has added up as part of one of those players who have scored 100 goals or more, but no name Neymar, no name Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. And of course, these two players have been very, very instrumental, very important for their respective clubs. Or on the part of Real Madrid, that game against Vallecano presented a huge opportunity for them. I don't know if you've seen, but it looks as if Carlo Ancelotti you saw a Brentford friend Jude Bellingham in that role that he used to use him last season, more like a box crusher. So Jude comes from deep, attacks the far post, attacks the boxing at the very late, and he uses athleticism. And then the fact that he has a very good ball manipulator, is able to draw. In fact, goal no share against Atalanta was an excellent one where the ball flew up to Jude Bellingham. I can't know a Brentford friend Martin De Roon 1v1. He dropped the shoulder down, up, and then of course slotted the ball in the back of the net. I think that Jude is really playing well. Real Madrid are delighted with Jude Bellingham, who's excited, who's exceeded expectations. He's considered a strategic signing, reserved for players seen in the backbone for football and then the media. And I think that that's a spot on. It's also been said Jude Bellingham, AS Dario Zeka said, Madrid for me excited about the prospect of Jude Bellingham, and they feel he has even exceeded his expectation because social branded Jude Bellingham. He is somebody that is being signed in that regard because he is a super professional and also very important for the media. But his performance on the field of play is also going on very well. And Jude is doing some very, very good work over there. I think that the returns now have been good. He's playing very well for Tima, their friend Real Madrid over there. Of course, in the last few days, in front of AS Dario, there's Undio Parasona. They're talking about Atletico de Madrid and then the goals and the games, how they've been consistently winning, scoring goals this season over there. And of course, they spoke about Chelsea in front of the AS Dario. So I'm going to say about Chelsea young boy. Your friend, Chelsea young boy, friend McGee. I know I also 2 goals against Astana in Spain. Everybody's talking about a Brentford friend McGee. We just a tidbit. We'll get into the main stories very soon. I say McGee has been very instrumental for Ono and for Chelsea and how good that the games have been in the Conference League. He has been in there making sure that he goes on to play. The sad news, however, for Real Madrid, the fact that Abrantia, your friend Kylian, Luton, Mbappe injured, and he's going to be out of the Madrid team for just a number of weeks or days. Madrid for a test almost is going to be out for 10 days. Kylian Luton Mbappe, so we Kaisa game against Atalanta. Now Mbappe was on after scoring his goal. He went off injured, and then after Madrid for a test they are saying say Kylian Luton Mbappe out for the next 10 days, not going to play. Mbappe will not play versus Rayo on Saturday, and he's a serious doubt for the Intercontinental Cup that's going to go on as well. Kylian Mbappe has been diagnosed of an injury in the thigh of his left pending evolution, so that they know exactly how the injury pans out. And Mario said Madrid have been trying to get some players over the team, trying to have conversations with Alphonso Davies, Trent Alexander-Arnold to come into their team. In the last few days, my reporter says Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Joyce, Paul Joyce, are very, very close to Liverpool. Because it looks as if he favors staying at Liverpool over there, but still, Real Madrid will still want to go on with a push harder and then get it done. And there is some update on the report on a branch friend Trent Alexander-Arnold. So Jude Bellingham actively working to convince Trent Alexander-Arnold to join him at Real Madrid. Real Madrid have a certain optimism about the arrival of Trent Alexander-Arnold, but it's not a done deal. Liverpool wants to play their cards and convince him, but they know that with each passing day, it's becoming harder. The next few weeks will bring clarity, of course, as we enter January and then we enter 2025. It is really going to be clear if Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to be at Real Madrid or is going to stay at Liverpool. And if you look at Liverpool, they really, really like him. I've said over the last few days, Joel Osteen never been reporting here. Liverpool have officially given contract offers to Trent, to Salah, and to a Brentford friend Virgil van Dijk. But then it's about coming down to make sure that Trent Alexander-Arnold keeps that contract offer and stays at Real Madrid, stays at Liverpool and not go to Real Madrid on the other side of Hornman. Of course, Liverpool for no want to keep Trent Alexander-Arnold. Real Madrid will also love to have Trent Alexander-Arnold in their ranks because he is an important player. And when he play at fullback, somebody that's a creative who can also play as a deep line playmaker in the middle of the park for you. Trent Alexander-Arnold is an important player for team your friend Real Madrid over there in front of Mundo Deportivo. I'm gonna say the flick stamp. El Celo Flick, talking about how Flick teams get in behind. Of course, Sport also in front of it says Flick applaud Ferran. Flick applauded Ferran. I'm talking about how Hansi Flick has been spot on in getting his players to deliver, and he applauded a bunch of friend Ferran Torres. Ferran was so important for Hansi Flick. Of course, just imagine, say, Robert Lewandowski, every team, and you are bringing in somebody when you need goals, and then Ferran Torres is the guy. Gets 2 goals over there. The finishing in the box was spot on. One, he was at the right place at the right time. The second one, literally, ball manipulated that ball when it was passed through to him by Brentford and Lamine Yamal, and ball to the back of the net for Tima. Your friend FC Barcelona, he was so instrumental for Tima, your friend in Barcelona, in getting those goals and playing very well over there for Barcelona yesterday. And that's exactly how it's going to pan out. That's exactly how we expect to see things for Brentford friend Ferran Torres. I mean, a super sub of a sort. That was our team over there. Of course, social Barca team, there were 2 players also very important has been Jules Koundé and Abrantia, your friend Abrantia, your friend Marc Casado. They have been solid, in fact, consistently. They've played in almost every game in the Champions League, almost every minute in the Champions League this season for team your friend Barcelona in the Champions League. Pablo Torre about just 72 minutes of the matches, but he's a young player that really can come up and then play some good stuff for team your friend FC Barcelona. Barca this weekend against Leaganes. The onus is on them to make sure that they replicate the same performance against Barcelona over the weekend. I was telling you about the fact that Robert Lewandowski and their Brentford friend Rafinha have been important. If you look at the Barca game, I like the fact that they use Casado and Pedri as a decoy for what for the pressing trap of team and friend in Dortmund. Every time, constantly, they use it as a decoy. Then when they use it as a decoy in the middle of the park, the plan was to go find Dani Olmo as a free man in between the lines. The plan is to go out wide and then isolate Rafinha, Lamine Yamal 1v1 and create scoring chances in that regard. And I think that it was a very good game plan for Hansi Flick. It's just the distances that they need to check. Barca is some share the distances now. Because the more you go direct, the more you are susceptible to turnovers. The more, if you are susceptible to turnovers, then you consider a lot of chances, and that's not good enough at all for team and friend in Barca. And that's why sometimes when Barca do not have their wide creative wingers who also are very good in terms of ball retention, then it affects them largely in terms of they conceding chances and hence losing games as so. It's something that Barca would have to look at. I think Enrique Peña has been excellent from FC Barcelona, and they really need to give him that contract extension over there. So that's essentially for that match that's going to go on against Leaganes as it stands now. Nothing really in for FC Barcelona. Of course, if there's something else, we'll come back, we'll give you all the information on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube of over there. Because there's a Chelsea conversation, FC Chelsea. Oh, the conversation this weekend, Chelsea against Brentford. We'll share the English Premier League table also. Where Brentford are is clear to you where Chelsea want to. Where it's clear to you how Chelsea view this game. So actually, Brentford manager Thomas Frank, he is one of the most consistent managers in the English Premier League. Consistently playing with the back three, but then overloading and overlapping with the centre backs, now not the full backs. Consistently, they are coming for it. In fact, Saudi come in Europe and you're talking about one of the most pragmatic managers in the game. You can't have that conversation without mentioning Thomas Frank. The Norwegian has been top in everything that he's doing. And on Sunday, Chelsea would have to face him at 7 p.m. A huge game for almost Chelsea. Any team your friend of Brentford, I saw Brentford in their last 5 games or 5 games over there. They've won 3, drawn 1, and lost 1. Chelsea in the last 6 games across all competitions were winning and it tells you the consistency now. Chelsea Ekita this season, our English Premier League game. Like I said, the games now were games that are favorable. And now I saw said Gary Neville went on to an interview, you know, can say, ono yeah, just so because Chelsea are title favorites because social Chelsea team now. Chelsea airborne against teams that ancient and yet they against weaker opponents already in the English Premier League. So he is not ready to come in and say Chelsea would win the English Premier League. He thinks that it's a long way to go. And immediately I heard and saw that, I knew that this was the reason why Enzo Maresca was saying said Chelsea are not title contenders, because he means that the media will jump on him and say that, oh, Chelsea are title contenders against smaller team. That's going to put pressure on his team, and the pressure to the team and then the boys, so they are going to make mistakes. Some making mistakes, and then they are going to lose grip on whatever they want to do. Nobody's in the title contention. Chelsea had a second English Premier League with 31 points, 4 points of Liverpool with one game in hand. Whilst English Premier League, if you look at the part of Brentford, almost ninth position with 23 points also, with also playing 15 games over there, scoring 31, and then also conceding 28 over there. It sets the tone for that one in terms of number of games. The games never busted this weekend. Of course, we know one of the things that's very clear with FC Bournemouth, NSM, FC Brentford, NSM. They've scored the highest number of goals this season. The highest number of, the quickest goals this season. Once the game starts, quickly they have a routine they show goals consistently. They're also very dangerous in set plays. Brian Mbeumo and their Brentford friend Yohan Wissa have been very important. In fact, last season, Yohan Wissa scored one of the goals of the season contenders against Chelsea. It is a game that's going to be very important, especially at home at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea would play that game like how they play some of those stubborn defenses. Very compact, very high, but they're more aggressive than most teams. Social Leicester team, now Leicester was compact, but then they were not aggressive. They were not aggressive in certain areas. There are times where you're supposed to exert pressure and enforce and be aggressive and be combative and physical. Most of the times, Leicester were not like that. They didn't do stuff like that. And that is something that Chelsea would want to do when they are playing against, that's something that Chelsea were expecting playing against Brentford. Because Brentford will be aggressive. Brentford will put pressure on you. Brentford will push you. They will not allow you to have loads of the ball without exerting pressure. They'll be more combative. Into Chelsea, he said this game is going to be a huge different game for them when they are playing against Brentford, our English Premier League game this season. It's going to be on Sunday at 7 p.m. And it's a game that you have you talk about a lot of things. They didn't come up because one of the Chelsea players has been talking. He spoke about the fact say Chelsea team preparations, where they've come from, the kind of things that they are seeing, and how good that they are possibly going to be. He spoke about all of those things over there, and we went to see Sign 7 never called. But I told you, said Gary Neville, he said Chelsea any in pole position, because says Chelsea any the right place, because Chelsea are not playing the most important games. So Chelsea Timisha Brentford on Sunday. I think that Chelsea are very, very serious in getting to the top 4, and it means that Chelsea cannot be relegated automatically this season. It's going to mean that Chelsea will have a good season as it stands now, and everything is going to go in the right direction over there. In terms of the players, no any common with respect to Gary Neville, the things they spoke about, the things that he was saying with respect to Chelsea, and why he will not call Abrantia, your friend of Enzo Maresca in the Chelsea team as title favorite yet. We made this morning, he spoke about the fact that the Chelsea team now, Gary Neville said the fact of the matter is with the games they are playing or they've got coming up, if they win them, as you say, I think there is only one team they are playing in the top 10 in the next 7-8 games. There is no excuse for them not to get closer to Liverpool in that period. With the way in which they are playing, the way in which they are rotating the squad, you're right. They are within about a shout of the league, and to get closer in January, but I still think they will fall short. That's Gary Neville, and that's exactly why Enzo Maresca. It is people like Gary Neville in T and at the BRB was starting to Enzo Maresca and downplay the fact that Chelsea can go on and win the Liga. It is Gary Neville, because if you listen to what Gary Neville is saying, literally, I'm saying that Chelsea will match someone and share and day. So you see, when you don't take care, you get triggered by some of these things, and that's what Enzo Maresca really, really, really wants to prevent over there. And now, Jadon Sancho, an interview where Premier League, he spoke about a lot of things. He spoke about Enzo Maresca as a coach. Spoke about his, how Enzo Maresca influencing as a young man when he went into the Chelsea squad. He spoke about how important Enzo Maresca is in terms of how he will get Maresca. How Maresca gets him to be delivering our honor. he spoke about him. Sancho, I'll say the first convo with Maresca, it was just a good feeling. When I entered the room, I felt his aura, his presence. I feel like it was a manager you need to feel in the training ground, especially when he's talking to you. He has played the game, and well, he's had a lot of experience, and he can teach the players and then the guys something. He goes on to talk about a lot of things. How I'm talking about the fact that on our Chelsea team, Ushia, Abantia, your friend Enzo Maresca. Maresca really taught him a lot of things. Maresca really guided him, and a training maybe for him to be able to do it well. And that's what has influenced him. I say, Social Maresca, he has played a game before. Aside the fact that Maresca has played a game before, he, Enzo Maresca, has also had experience as a coach. And I know our boys, I'm watching you might be airborne or games now, of course, in the last 9 games, Chelsea are unbeaten in all competitions, as we talk about it over there. And that's exactly the kind of things that you are seeing at Chelsea. And Chelsea seems to be getting the result in that regard. Set in all competitions, almost share games and consistently they're rotating. Like I said, Brentford side are in the top 10. They are 9th position. They're a very difficult side to play against, and you need to be very careful when you are playing against them. I'll say maybe Charles stats be a stat that shows the difference between teams with total goals generated from open play, excluded penalty kicks in a match, and then XG conceded by the opponent's team. Chelsea can improve defensively. The only reason why we aren't in the valleys of the 90s like Liverpool or close, but underlying numbers are fantastic. We aren't erring defensively due to the structure as well, but most due to individual mistake, personnel, which shows that once these mistakes are ironed out, we should be up there. Impressive stuff, guys. And if City, if you look at the numbers over there, it's the athletic credits to them. Also, the underlying Premier League numbers, non-penalty XG difference per game. So, Liverpool when the leading XG difference near the XGs are what conceded plus the XGs are what we're generating, and excluding penalties. Say open play chances, here about chance now creative quality chances plus XGs against you. There are teams creative against you. What is it? The Liverpool on top with -9. Not minus, positive 0.91, and at Chelsea that second with 0.76. It means that Chelsea concede creates more chances, but tend to concede more. But usually Chelsea chance concession here from individual errors, from a players like the 2 slaves from Marco Correa and also that one from Abrantia, your friend Benoit Belache, and Robert Sanchez also inside game. Arsenal also up there in 3rd position. There is Bournemouth, very solid defensively. Man City 0.55. Tottenham Hotspur are in there. The rest of the teams for Manchester United now a negative 0.02. It means that Manchester United concede more chances than they create chances already in the English Premier League. And it tells you how good Chelsea are doing. Genuinely, the underlying factors do show. And not just because Chelsea share games, but it's also the underlying metric. They analyze the teams. That's all they show how good teams are. You can really tell why it shows that Chelsea are going to get to the top, how Chelsea are really playing well, and how Chelsea are going to be very important in that game against Brentford. I'm more prepared for in the English Premier League. This morning, team now could do our England, and then they want to make sure they go on and get the job done. Of course, and I chanced on a very good article from Opta. According to Opta, I'll say Enzo has more second assists that I was talking about. That's what they call a pre-assist. This is very well in line with Enzo as a player, and I think that one of the most important things in Enzo Maresca here for Enzo Fernandez has been the profiling of the player. Many of times, coaches don't profile players, so they make a profiling and make us say who baby potty a player anymore, role potty a player no will thrive in exactly where you want to use the player, and that's what Enzo Maresca has done well with Enzo Fernandez in terms of the role that he wants to have him playing in, and then how good he is in that regard. It's been very important for Chelsea for them to get it right in terms of the profiling of Enzo Fernandez, and of course the use of Enzo Maresca seems to be a very good one there. Whatever Maresca has done it brilliantly. Don Hutchison is talking about how good Chelsea were yesterday against Astana and how good the other teams also were, and he's talking about how good Chelsea can be going forward in terms of the games that come. Chelsea are the only English Premier League playing in Europe next week. The same as today, really. It looks as he said next week Conference League. Like I said, There's not going to be any Champions League game. It's just going to be the Conference League. Chelsea have won 6 in a row for the very first time since Thomas Tuchel in 2022. Chelsea's last attempt at 7 in a row against Brentford. It ended 4-1. Chelsea's next game is against Brentford over there. Next few games that Chelsea will in the festive season in December. Chelsea will Brentford next week. Orbo Ofi against Shamrock Rovers. Then there is Everton away. There is Fulham at home. There's Ipswich Town away, and then there's Crystal Palace also there to play. So it means that Chelsea have some games. The Brentford one looks like the most difficult one for Chelsea to go in and then try and navigate as it stands now. But then away from that, I think that Chelsea are doing some good stuff over there. And the Brentford match, it's not going to be easy, but Chelsea really has what it takes to go inside Brentford match and get the results that they really want to go and then get it in there. We'll wait to see how that pans out over there. In terms of matches now in the English Premier League and in the games that are coming on. Chelsea seems to be on a very, very good right track. And we'll see how that one goes over there. Of course, Cole Palmer, son, obviously Cole Palmer is about to trademark the cold celebration. Wow. Wait to see. But yeah, guys, this is where we enjoy the Cats on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I will see you back with you. Take care. Bye-bye.